My wife gave me two choices: watch her sleep with her ex or stay out of her way while she did it anyway. I picked option 3 and told her to start packing before I rearranged his face. Hey Reddit. So my wife came home one day talking about conscious expansion and how monogamy was a social construct. She really wanted to sleep with her ex-boyfriend and expected me to smile and clap for her. Well, I got them both clapped. Grab your popcorn and enjoy this shit show. Name's Riley, 33 male. I run a custom motorcycle shop in Portland. We build bikes, do restorations, handle repairs. I manage the crew, work on the builds myself, and make sure 6 guys don't kill each other during busy season. That Tuesday started like any other. 2 of my guys called in sick, which meant I was pulling double duty on a custom Harley build that was already behind schedule. Spent the morning fabricating a gas tank, the afternoon fine-tuning the exhaust system, and the last 3 hours dealing with a parts supplier. By the time I pulled into my driveway at 7:30, I was running on fumes. 12-hour shift, covered in grease, lower back screaming, the kind of tired where you just want to microwave something, take a shower, and zone out in front of the TV. But the moment I walked through the door, I knew something was off. The house was too quiet. Celeste's car was in the driveway, so she was home, but there was no sound at all, just silence. I found her in the kitchen, just standing by the counter with her arms crossed. She was dressed up, hair done, makeup on, like she was about to go somewhere. Hey, I said, setting my keys on the counter. Everything okay? She didn't answer right away, just looked at me with this serious expression. I grabbed a bottle of water from the fridge, cracked it open. Took a long drink while watching her out of the corner of my eye. We need to talk, she finally said. I set the bottle down. All right, what's going on? She took a breath, then leaned against the kitchen counter, arms crossed. You know this life doesn't work for me anymore. I paused. What do you mean? I mean I'm getting bored. Our marriage is boring and I want to explore other options. I blinked, processing what she was saying. I was already tired. Her words sounded like a hallucination. Excuse me? I'm giving you 2 choices, Riley. I looked at her. What options? The build spec I'd been planning to review was sitting on the counter next to me. My phone buzzed with a text from one of my crew about tomorrow's schedule. Everything was like a background noise while I waited for her to drop whatever bomb was coming. We'd been married for 4 years, together for 6. We'd always been good. The past 6 months she'd been distant, always on her phone, going to these networking events and wellness workshops, coming home talking about consciousness, expansion, and limiting beliefs. I figured it was just some phase. Midlife crisis at 29 or whatever. Nope. I was wrong. You can either accept that I want to explore something with Asher, or you can stay out of the way while I do it anyway. I stared at her, waiting for the punchline. When nothing came, I actually laughed. Come again? She sighed like I was being difficult, like I was supposed to be cool with my wife sleeping with her ex-boyfriend. I don't want this to be a fight, she said. I'm being honest, trying to handle this with integrity. I'm not sneaking around behind your back. I'm giving you the opportunity to grow with me. The crazy part? She actually believed what she was saying. I could see it in her eyes. She genuinely thought that she was doing me a favor by being transparent about wanting to cheat. So let me make sure I understand this correctly. You want me to be okay with you sleeping with Asher, your ex. She nodded slowly. And if I'm not okay with it, you're going to do it anyway. Another nod. How long have you been planning this? A few weeks, maybe a month, but it's not like I woke up one day and decided this. It's been a journey of self-discovery and cut the seminar talk. How long have you been talking to Asher? She bit her lip. 4 months. So she'd been emotionally cheating on me for 4 months, and now she wanted permission to make it physical. It's not cheating if I'm being honest with you. The mental gymnastics were impressive. I watched her hands gesture softly as she continued. People our age are rethinking what relationships mean. Monogamy isn't natural. I've been reading, listening to experts, talking to people who've moved past outdated relationship models. What I'm feeling isn't wrong. It's not betrayal. I didn't respond, because I knew if I spoke right then, it wouldn't be calm. And I needed to stay calm, needed to see how deep this went. This isn't just physical attraction, she continued. Asher and I connect on a level that's intellectual, spiritual even. He understands parts of me that you, and I'm not criticizing you, but I've grown, and I refuse to shrink myself back down. Asher, by the way, is 34 years old. Her ex from college, the guy she dated for 2 years before we met. Some wannabe guru who ran a lifestyle coaching business out of a renovated warehouse. I'd met him exactly once. At some networking thing Celeste dragged me to 8 months ago. Edison bulbs everywhere. A coffee bar serving overpriced drinks called The Alignment and The Awakening. When Celeste introduced us, he gave me this handshake that was too soft. "What do you do, Riley?" he asked. "Custom motorcycle shop. Build bikes, restorations." He nodded with this fake smile. "That's great, man. The world needs people who keep the gears turning, you know? The infrastructure. Someone's got to do it." Then he turned back to Celeste and started reminiscing about some book they'd both read in college. I stood there while they laughed and finished each other's sentences. I should have seen it then, but I trusted her. Figured she was just networking big mistake. So, I didn't argue. Didn't shout. I just stood up. Walked out of the kitchen. Something clicked right then, deep in my chest. She thought this was a negotiation. Thought I had two choices. I'd already picked option 3. When I came back out, she was waiting. Probably expecting yelling or some kind of emotional breakdown she could use. I gave her nothing. Just nodded and said, "I need time to process this." She smiled, relieved. "Thank you for being open," she said. "This means everything." "Sure," I said. I went to bed that night, knowing exactly what I was going to do, and she had absolutely no idea. Over the next week, Celeste treated me like a rehabilitation project. She'd leave articles open on our shared iPad about open relationships and modern relationship structures. Send me links to podcast episodes with titles like Transcending Jealousy and Reclaiming Sexual Autonomy. She even printed out a success story about some couple in Seattle who'd opened their marriage and claimed it saved them. "If you truly love me, you'll support this," she said one morning. "This doesn't have to be painful." I nodded, smiled when appropriate, said things like, "I'm really trying to understand, and I want to support your growth," all while keeping my eyes open. The beautiful thing about Celeste's newfound enlightenment was that she stopped hiding anything. She did it all in plain sight, because in her mind, there was nothing to hide. She was free. And me? I was just the old model she'd eventually upgrade from. She just hadn't finalized the trade-in yet. But she would. Soon, the more agreeable I seemed, the more confident she became. She stopped editing herself around me, started mentioning Asher's name casually, dropping hints about their plans, floating timelines like we were coordinating a vacation. I played my role. The confused husband who was trying his best, the guy doing late-night reading to educate himself, nodding while she explained how traditional marriage was basically a patriarchal prison designed to control women. I even threw in a few reflective sighs, just enough to make her think the conditioning was working. It wasn't. In reality, I was gathering everything I needed. See, Celeste made one critical mistake. She'd always used our shared iPad for her personal stuff. Her calendar, her messages, her email. We'd bought it together 3 years ago, set it up with a family sharing account, and she'd never bothered changing her passwords or logging out. I had every right to look at what was on it. And what I found made my blood ice cold. I started with her calendar. That's where I found the first breadcrumb weekly entries marked personal development, starting about 3 months ago. Every Wednesday evening, 7 to 9 p.m. Always the same location listed Pearl District Loft, Asher's place. Then I checked her messages. She had him saved in her contacts as Catalyst. Cute. Their text went back 4 months. Started innocent enough, professional, then shifted. By month 2, they were talking every single day. "I can't stop thinking about our conversation last night," she wrote. "Same. You're different than you were in college. More awake. You see me in ways Riley never could. He's a good person, but he's stuck. Comfortable. Comfort is the enemy of growth." I sat there reading message after message, watching her rewrite our entire relationship as some prison she needed to escape from. But the really interesting stuff was in the voice memos. She'd send him these long, rambling recordings, 3, 4, 5 minutes each, talking about her feelings, her frustrations, her awakening, like she was in some kind of therapy session, except her therapist was trying to sleep with her. One memo from 3 weeks ago stood out. "Riley asked me today if everything was okay, if I was happy, and I lied. I told him yes. But the truth is, I haven't been happy in years. I've just been going through the motions. And meeting you again, it's made me realize I deserve more than motions. I deserve passion, connection, someone who challenges me. Haven't been happy in years." That's what she said. Years. We'd been married for 4, which meant she regretted the whole thing. Good to know. I kept digging. Found more messages, more recordings. The pattern was consistent. She was building this whole narrative where I was the comfortable, safe choice who'd failed to grow with her, and Asher was the enlightened savior who would unlock her true potential. The timeline was damning. Every Wednesday for 3 months. Every single week. While I thought she was at networking events or wellness workshops, she was at his loft. Then I saw the calendar entry. Next weekend. Cascade Wellness Retreat. 3 days blocked off. Below it, a note. Trial run before transition. She wasn't planning a fling. She was planning an exit strategy. No confrontation, no paperwork. Just a slow fade into Asher's bed, and eventually Asher's life. She'd test drive the upgrade. See if it worked. Come back if it didn't. Like I was a backup generator she could fire up if the main power source failed. But there was more. One evening, while Celeste was taking a shower, I saw a notification pop up on the iPad A voice memo from someone named Tori. I recognized the name immediately. Her younger sister. 26 years old. Still figuring out her life. Always treated me like I was barely worth acknowledging. Called me Captain Boring behind my back. The memo was sitting there. Unread. I clicked it. "You're sure Riley's buying it?" Tori asked. Her voice had that same smug tone she always used around me. "Completely," Celeste laughed. "God, Tori, I feel so alive right now. Asher's obsessed with you. It's kind of hot, not going to lie." "I know. He says I'm the only woman who ever really challenged him intellectually. Better than being stuck with Captain Boring for the rest of your life, right?" They both laughed. Then Tori dropped this. "So does he know I've been seeing Asher too?" Long pause. I could hear Celeste moving around on her end, like she was walking somewhere more private. "He doesn't need to know," Celeste said finally. Her voice was different now. Careful. Asher's philosophy is that authentic connection isn't about possession or ownership. We're all just exploring what feels right, what resonates. So we're sharing him? We're not sharing anything, Tori. That's such a limited way to look at it. We're both connecting with someone who sees us, who helps us grow. Does that mean you're okay with me sleeping with him too? Another pause. Are you already sleeping with him? Yeah, for like 3 weeks now. I had to replay that part, just to make sure I wasn't hearing things. Her sister was also sleeping with Asher. And Celeste either knew or was finding out right now on this recording. 3 weeks? Celeste's voice got tight. And you didn't tell me? I thought you knew. He said you guys had talked about this, about how the three of us could all support each other's growth. He said what? That we were all adults, that there was enough love to go around. The recording went quiet for a few seconds. Then I heard Celeste laugh, a bitter laugh. Of course he did. Are you mad? No, I'm not mad. I'm just processing. This is exactly what I wanted, right? No possession, no jealousy, just authentic connection. But she sounded mad. So we're good? Tori asked. We're good. The memo ended there. I sat back, tried to process what I'd just heard. Asher wasn't some spiritual guru helping women find themselves. He was running a rotation. Celeste, Tori, who knows who else? All of them thinking they were evolved and special while he played them against each other. And Celeste was bringing her own sister into it. Probably thought they could both transcend jealousy together, or something equally stupid. I backed everything up. Screenshots, saved messages, downloaded voice memos, organized it all by. Then I started keeping detailed written notes. I documented it all in a notebook I kept locked in my truck, because I had a feeling I was going to need it. And I was right. I called Ali on Thursday night after work. His family came from Lebanon in the 90s. We'd been boys since community college, where we both took night classes while working full-time. He was studying engineering while working at a warehouse. I was doing business management while working security. We bonded over being the only two people in our accounting class who actually did the homework. 10 years later, he'd climbed his way up to senior engineer at Intel, making solid 6 figures. He also happened to be the funniest person I knew. The kind of guy who could roast you until you questioned every life choice you'd ever made, then buy you dinner. He answered on the second ring, "Yo, what's up, Habibi? I need to talk." His tone changed immediately. "About what? Can you come over? I'll explain in person." "Say less. I'll bring food." 30 minutes later, he pulled up in his ancient Civic, got out carrying 2 bags from this Lebanese place he swore by shawarma wraps. Garlic sauce. The works. We sat in my garage because I didn't want Celeste overhearing if she came back early from whatever workshop she was attending that night. Ali handed me a wrap and sat down on an overturned bucket. "Okay," he said. "What happened?" I told him everything. The whole mess. Ali didn't interrupt. Just listened while destroying his shawarma. When I finished, he was quiet for a solid 10 seconds. Just chewing. Thinking. Then he set down his food and looked at me. "Brother, I'm going to ask you one question, and I need you to be completely honest with me." "Shoot. Are you actually considering staying with this woman?" "No, not even a little bit." "Good." He nodded. "Because if you said yes, I was going to slap you so hard, your ancestors in whatever Irish village you came from would feel it." I laughed despite everything. "That's why I called you." "Okay." He wiped his hands on a napkin. So what's the play? Because you've got enough here to bury her legally, but you need to be smart about it. Can't go in guns blazing. I'm thinking lawyer first. Divorce papers. But I want to understand what I'm actually dealing with here. Wait, didn't you once tell me you guys signed a prenup? I stopped. Actually, yeah, we did. And? And I completely forgot about it. It was true. We'd signed a prenuptial agreement 4 years ago, right before the wedding. Not because I wanted to. I would have married her without any legal paperwork at all. But Celeste insisted on it. The irony wasn't lost on me. Her parents had money. Her grandmother had passed a few years before and left her a trust fund, maybe $90,000. But Celeste wanted to protect it, make sure it stayed separate property. Her lawyer drew up the prenup, made it clear that her inheritance was hers alone. I'd agreed because I didn't care about her money. Never had. But now I was trying to remember the other details. There was something else in there. Some clause her lawyer added. Ali saw the wheels turning in my head. You need to dig that up, he said. Like tonight. Right now. He followed me inside. I went straight to the spare bedroom where we kept the filing cabinet. Found the folder labeled Important Documents. There it was. Prenuptial agreement, 15 pages. Signed and notarized 4 years ago. I flipped through it. Most of it was standard separation of assets. Her trust fund stayed hers. Any inheritance either of us received stayed separate. Joint bank accounts would be split 50-50. Then I hit page 8, Infidelity Clause. My heart started pounding. I read it out loud. In the event that either party engages in extramarital relations during the course of the marriage, the faithful party shall retain full ownership of the primary residence, any vehicles purchased jointly, and all furnishings and assets acquired during the marriage. The unfaithful party forfeits all claims to said assets and shall be responsible for their own legal fees in the divorce proceedings. I looked at Ali. He was grinning. Brother, he said, she's cooked. She doesn't remember it, I said. I'm sure of it. She hasn't mentioned it once. Even better. Ali stood up. Okay, here's what we're doing. You're calling a lawyer tomorrow. First thing, you're dropping this on her like a nuke. What about Asher? He needs to know this is coming too. You want to tell him yourself? No, I want someone else to tell him. Someone who has skin in the game. Ali thought about it. He's got a girlfriend, right? I explained what I'd found while digging through Asher's social media. He wasn't married, but he'd been dating some woman named Haley for 2 years. She was completely clueless about Asher's lifestyle coaching business. Ali's grin got wider. Oh man, this is going to be beautiful. You're going to blow up his whole operation. That's the idea. We spent the next hour planning. Ali had this way of turning everything into a tactical operation, breaking it down into steps, contingencies, backup plans. By the time he left at midnight, I had a clear roadmap. Step 1. Consult a divorce attorney. Get the prenup reviewed. Step 2. Document everything. Build an airtight case. Step 3. Let Celeste go on her little retreat to Asher's cabin. Let her think she's winning. Step 4. Serve her papers the day she gets back. Step 5. Watch the whole house of cards collapse. I met with a lawyer Friday morning guy named Klein, mid-50s. Had this calm, measured way of speaking that immediately put me at ease. I showed him everything. The prenup, the screenshots from the iPad, my written notes, the timeline. He read through it all carefully, didn't rush, took his time with each piece of evidence like he was building something in his head. Then he looked up at me. You've documented everything legally. The prenup is ironclad, and she's been openly admitting to the affair in writing. So I'm good. You're better than good. With this infidelity clause, she's going to walk away with basically nothing. What about her inheritance? The money from her grandmother? That was protected in the prenup as separate property. She keeps that, but everything else? He gestured at the documents. You're going to be fine. I was relieved. How long will this take? In Oregon, there's a waiting period, but with her cooperating or not cooperating, we can have this finalized within a few months, especially if she doesn't contest it. She's going to contest it, he smiled. They always think they will. But once they see the evidence and understand the prenup, most people back down. Legal fees add up fast when you're fighting a losing battle. Let her go on this retreat. I'll have the papers ready by Monday. I left the office feeling lighter than I had in weeks. That afternoon, I did something I'd been putting off. I reached out to Haley, Asher's girlfriend, found her on social media, sent her a simple message through Instagram. Hi, Haley. You don't know me, but I have information about Asher that you deserve to know. Can we talk? She responded within an hour. Who is this? Someone in a similar position. I'll let you decide what to do with the information, but you should have it. She agreed to meet me for coffee on Saturday morning. I brought some printouts. Haley seemed genuinely kind, which made this harder. I didn't editorialize, just showed her the evidence and let her draw her own conclusions. She went pale, didn't cry, just stared at the pages for a long time. How long? She finally asked. At least 4 months that I can confirm. Maybe longer? She nodded, folded the papers, looked at me. Thank you for this. I know it couldn't have been easy. I'm sorry you're going through it. She laughed bitterly. You know what the funniest part is? He's always talking about authenticity and transparency. That's his whole brand. And he's been lying to both of us this entire time. She stood up, straightened her jacket like she was preparing for battle. I'm ending it today, and I'm making sure everyone who takes his workshops knows exactly who he is. I didn't respond, just nodded. Allie's words echoed in my head. Watch everything burn. It was already starting. Celeste left for her retreat on Friday evening, packed her bag like she was heading to a spa yoga pants, athletic wear, her expensive skincare products. She kissed my cheek on her way out. Thank you for being so understanding about this. Of course, sweetheart. I said, I think this is going to be really good for us. For me to explore who I am, and for you to process what you need. Totally. She left with this smile on her face, like she'd just achieved enlightenment by booking a weekend to cheat on her husband. The moment her car disappeared down the street, Allie pulled up in his Civic. I'd texted him that the coast was clear. He walked in carrying his laptop and this huge grin on his face. Okay, he said, setting up at my kitchen table. We're doing this now, Habibi. Doing what? Watch. He opened his laptop and pulled up Asher's business website, the lifestyle coaching page, with all his workshop listings and testimonials. What are you doing, Allie? Brother, you're handling the legal nuclear option. That's smart. But me? I'm handling the petty tactical strike. He started typing. I'm going to make Asher's life annoying as hell. How? Watch and learn. First, he went to Google reviews, found Asher's business listing. 5 stars. 32 glowing reviews about transformation and awakening and life-changing experiences. Allie created a new Gmail account, then wrote a review. He read it out loud as he typed. Attended Asher's intentional living workshop, hoping for genuine insight. Instead, I got 3 hours of recycled self-help cliches and uncomfortable eye contact. Asher spends most of the session humble bragging about his conscious relationships with multiple women. When I asked specific questions about implementing his advice, he said I wasn't vibrating at the right frequency yet. Save your $800. 2 out of 5 stars? Would be 1 star, but the kombucha was decent. He hit submit. That's not even the best part, he said. There's more? Oh, brother, I'm just getting started. He started signing Asher up for every spam email list he could find. Timeshare presentations, senior living communities, debt consolidation, extended car warranties. He's going to get about 400 emails a day, Allie said. His inbox will be completely unusable within a week. I started laughing. This is so petty. Exactly. He kept going. And here's the masterpiece. He found his workshop sign-up page. The one where people could register for his upcoming Awakening Intensive Weekend, $900 per person, limited to 12 attendees. Ali created 12 fake email accounts, registered 12 fake people using obviously fake names. Look at these, he said, showing me the registration list. Huge ass. Anita Mann, Barry McCockiner, Dixon Cider. I lost it. You're insane. He's going to confirm all these registrations, Ali said. Send them all the prep materials. Then nobody's going to show up. What if he figures it out? Nah, he won't. He closed his laptop. Plus, even if he does, what's he going to do? He's too busy running his little harem to pay attention. I shook my head. You're genuinely terrible. I'm efficient, he corrected. You're destroying him legally. I'm destroying him logistically. Teamwork. He closed his laptop with a satisfied smile. Okay, he said. The digital warfare is complete. Now you just sit back and let everything else play out. Thanks for this. Brother, this is what friends are for. He headed for the door. Text me when you serve her. I want updates. Will do. After he left, I checked Asher's Google reviews on my phone. Allie's reviews were already there. Already getting marked as helpful by other people, I smiled. Let the games begin. First, I changed the locks. Not to lock her out permanently, just to make a point when she returned. Then I started packing her things. Her clothes went into suitcases, her toiletries into boxes. I labeled everything neatly and stacked it in the spare bedroom. I didn't damage anything, just organized it like I was preparing for a departure. Because I was. Ali came over Saturday afternoon to help me move some furniture. We rearranged the living room, took down the wedding photos, Replaced them with pictures I actually liked, things that felt like mine. That night, I got a text from Haley. I ended it. He tried to gaslight me, said I was being insecure. I told him to enjoy his authentic journey alone. Then I posted about it in the private group for his workshop alumni. Let's just say people are asking for refunds. Perfect. Everything was falling into place. Sunday night, Celeste texted me. This weekend has been so transformative, I feel like I'm finally stepping into my power. Hope you're doing okay. I replied with a thumbs up emoji. She had no idea what was waiting for her. Klein had the divorce papers ready. I'd already signed them. They were sitting in an envelope on the kitchen counter, next to the prenup. I spent Monday at work like it was any other day. Finished a custom paint job on a Triumph, dealt with a parts delay, ate lunch with my crew. When I pulled into the driveway that evening, her car was already there. She'd beaten me back. I walked inside and found her in the living room, staring at the walls where the wedding photos used to be. She was confused. Where are the pictures? I took them down. She blinked. Riley, what's going on? I gestured to the kitchen counter. There's an envelope for you. You should read it. What is this? The papers you forgot we signed, and the new ones you're going to need to sign. She walked over, opened the envelope, pulled out the divorce petition. Her face went white. Are you freaking kidding me? Not even a little. She looked at the prenup. I watched the exact moment she remembered. Her eyes widened. Her hands started shaking. This isn't. It's exactly what it looks like. You wanted freedom. Congratulations. Riley, wait, we can talk about this. We're done talking. She tried to step closer. I held up a hand. Don't. For the first time since I'd known her, she looked genuinely scared, and it felt amazing. She didn't leave that night, just stood there holding the papers like they might disappear if she stared. Long enough I walked past her. Went upstairs, locked the bedroom door. She knocked twice. I didn't answer. By morning she was gone. Probably to Tori's place. Didn't matter. The papers were served. The clock was ticking. Klein called me Wednesday afternoon. She lawyered up, he said. Some guy named Rothman. He's already trying to negotiate. He thinks the infidelity clause is too harsh. I told him to read the prenup his client signed and get back to me when he's ready to be realistic. I laughed. How long do you think this will take? A couple months at most. She doesn't have a leg to stand on. Rothman knows it. He's just doing his job. Perfect. Oh, and Riley? You might want to brace yourself, words getting around. Her family's going to reach out. He was right. I got a call from Celeste's mother that Thursday. Didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Riley, this is Marilyn. We need to talk about what's happening. Celeste is devastated. I think there's been a misunderstanding. Please call me back. I ignored it. Her father called Friday. Same thing. I sent it to voicemail. But Saturday morning, I got a text from Tori. We need to talk. Family meeting at Mom and Dad's 2 p.m. today. I showed the text to Allie. We were at his place watching college football. You going? He asked. Yeah. Why? Because I want them to know exactly what their daughters did, and I want to watch them try to defend it. Allie grinned. Can I come? No. Come on, man. I'll behave. You've never behaved a day in your life. Fair point. I showed up at Celeste's parents' house at 2. The whole family was there. Marilyn, Peter, Tori, and Celeste, looking like she'd been crying for 3 days straight. Peter spoke first. Riley, thanks for coming. We just want to understand what's happening here. From what Celeste has told us, this seems very sudden. Marilyn nodded. Marriage is work. You can't just walk away the moment things get difficult. Tori jumped in. You always seemed kind of rigid, Riley. Maybe if you'd been more open-minded, we wouldn't be here. I let them talk. Didn't interrupt. Just listened to them rewrite history in real time. Then I pulled out my phone. I pulled up the notes I'd written. Direct quotes from Celeste dates. Timelines. I read them aloud. Celeste, I'm giving you 2 choices. Accept that I want to explore something with Asher or stay out of the way. Asher understands me in ways you never could. He sees my authentic self. I don't owe you monogamy. That's a social construct. I looked up. She didn't ask for support. She demanded permission to cheat. Peter cleared his throat. Well, people say things when they're confused. She wasn't confused. I interrupted. She was planning. I showed them the calendar entry, the retreat booking, the messages. Then I looked at Tori. And just so we're clear, you're sleeping with Asher too, aren't you? Tori went pale. Marilyn's head snapped toward her. What? I played the voice memo. The whole thing. The room went silent. Marilyn looked horrified. Peter looked furious. Celeste looked like she wanted to disappear. So let me be clear, I said. Your daughter spent months planning to cheat on me with her ex-boyfriend. Your other daughter joined in. They both thought I was too weak to do anything about it. And the only reason they're upset now is because they got caught. I stood up. We signed a prenup. You all remember that, right? The one Celeste insisted on. Well, it has an infidelity clause. Marilyn started crying. Peter just stared at the floor. Celeste finally found her voice. Riley, please, we can fix this. Nope, we can't. I walked to the door, turned back one last time. You wanted two choices. I picked option 3. Enjoy your freedom. As I left, I heard Celeste sobbing, Tori trying to explain her parents' demanding answers. I got in my truck and drove away. Allie called me 5 minutes later. How'd it go? Perfect. The divorce was finalized in September, exactly 4 months after I served the papers. Celeste didn't contest it. Couldn't, really. I kept the house, the car, everything we'd built together. She kept her inheritance and whatever dignity she could salvage, which wasn't much. Asher's business imploded. Haley's post in the workshop alumni group spread like wildfire. Turns out a lot of his former clients had similar stories. By July, he'd shut down the coaching practice and moved to Arizona. Celeste moved back in with her parents. Last I heard, she was working remote customer service and posting vague things on social media about healing and self-discovery. I didn't follow her. Didn't care. I was done. Life got better. Work got easier. I started dating again. Nothing serious. Just living. Ali remained convinced the whole thing was the funniest saga he'd ever witnessed. He told the story at parties like it was comedy material. Everything was fine. Until October. I was home on a Friday night. Ali was over. We were playing video games and talking trash like usual. Then someone started pounding on my door. Loud, aggressive. Ali paused the game. You expecting someone? No. The pounding continued. Then I heard her voice. Riley, I know you're in there. Celeste. She sounded wrecked, slurring, definitely not sober. Oh, this is going to be good, Ali said. Standing up, I opened the door. Celeste was standing on my porch in sweatpants and an oversized hoodie. Hair a mess, eyes red. She looked like she'd been crying for hours, and she was holding an empty bottle. We need to talk, she said, swaying slightly. No, we don't. Yes, we do. You ruined my life. Ali appeared behind me. Technically, you ruined your own life. He just documented it. She pointed at him. Who the heck is this? I'm Ali, Riley's best friend. He paused. How'd that spiritual journey work out? Celeste's face turned red. You don't know anything. I know you forgot about a prenup you signed, and I know you're currently not sober on his porch 4 months after he divorced you. She looked at me, tears streaming down her face now. I made a mistake, okay? I was confused. Asher manipulated me. I wasn't thinking clearly. I crossed my arms. And that's supposed to make me feel bad for you? We could have worked through it. You wanted permission to cheat while keeping me as a backup plan. That's not true. Ali pulled out his phone. Want me to play the voice memos again? Because I've got copies. Celeste lunged forward. I stepped between them. You need to leave. I have nowhere to go. You have your parents' house. Everyone's sick of me. My friends won't talk to me. Tori won't talk to me. Asher moved away. And you just moved on like I never existed. She dropped to her knees, started sobbing. Please, please, Riley. I'll do anything. Just give me another chance. Ali looked at me, eyebrows raised, waiting to see how I'd handle it. I crouched down, looked her in the eyes. You gave me 2 choices back then. Accept your affair or stay out of the way. You didn't think I deserved a third option. Thought I'd just take it. She nodded, crying. But you're not sorry you did it. You're sorry it didn't work out the way you wanted. I stood up. Go home. Sober up. Move on. Because I already have. Ali opened the door wider. Maybe don't blow up your next marriage. She sat there for another minute, then slowly got to her feet, wiped her face with her sleeve. I hope you're happy, she said bitterly. I am, I said. Finally. She turned and stumbled back to her car. Ali and I watched to make sure she didn't drive. She didn't. Just sat in the driver's seat crying. Eventually, a car pulled up. Her mom. Marilyn got out, helped Celeste into the passenger seat, and drove away. Ali closed the door. Turned to me. Brother, that was the most pathetic thing I've ever witnessed. We went back to the couch, and for the first time in months, I felt completely free. The game kept going. Ali kept talking trash. Life kept moving forward. And Celeste? She became exactly what she should have been all along. A forgotten story I used to know. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.